radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening. How you doing? Yeah, Fade to Black. Today is Thursday, January 30th. We made it through the month. Tomorrow's the 1st, by the way. Made it through the month. Yes, 2025. And I'm looking. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right now, nothing matters. Nothing matters. No. Tonight's our once a month AMAAJA. Ask me anything. Ask Jimmy anything. That's what the J is for. So we do this once a month, and you can post your questions up in our live chat. Let me get over here now into the chat. Okay, I'm there. Tomorrow's the 31st. Is it? Tomorrow's not the 1st. Tomorrow's the 31st. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Yeah, I'm going to check. Genocide really, really likes to. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that before the words came out of my mouth. And that's how fast genocide is. And I've just noticed this isn't charging my stand. I redid the studio. Something didn't get plugged in. I am all about removing cables right now. And I'm in the middle of that. So, yes, that's what we're doing tonight. Post your question in all caps. And that way I can see it. I do a lot of scrolling during shows like this. Can you say bespoke radio for the masses? Yeah, I remember that. I remember those days. I do. There's no reason why. Okay. Wow. Okay. All of these questions. I'm now going to scroll backwards. Okay. I think I've got everything for now. Okay. Anyway, post your questions in all caps. Where was I? What was I doing? Oh, yes. So we do this once a month. Post your questions in the chat in all caps so I can see it. And we'll get through this tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will try to get to everything. I always do. There's always stuff straggling. I talk too much. I give long answers. Okay. So that's that. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, okay. Since the AMA, it's my night to talk, right? I don't get a chance to talk too much. I ask questions, but anyway, to that end, I was in a couple of conversations this week with some people about TV shows. It was weird that it would come up. Ricola, by the way. I'm addicted to them. And I caught myself trying to remember what I am watching at the moment or what I have seen. And here's the irony in that. When I look and search for something to watch, I've seen everything. And how is that possible? I scrolled through, this is over the weekend. I scrolled through on Amazon recommended movies or something. I was in Sci-fi and I went through, I don't know how wide that is, right? That scroll, but it's a lot. It's probably 50, 100 movies. I had seen every single one. Every one. Not part of it or anything. And right now with like TV series, so I have I have a few different categories. Yeah, of course, comedy, drama, right? Science fiction, documentary stuff, true crime, love it. But I have different levels of where I want to go that excites me. Science fiction in a TV series is kind of rare. Not for me to watch. It's rare to now, and we have the X-Files coming up. It's pretty exciting news. But so when it comes to that, it seems my mind says there's a lot of science fiction out there. And then you stop and you go to think about it, and I caught myself. It's not, and I was searching for it because I always say The Expanse, right? Orville was great. Space Force, the comedy thing, lasted 2 seasons. It wasn't that good, but I watched it because it was called Space Force. But anyway, my point being that I think I've seen any science fiction TV series that's really ever been offered. I've seen them all of it. And I wanted to do a compilation video. And I was thinking about that this week. So I could, just do a video and get it out there. It would help me remember and go back and look at different science fiction TV series and maybe remember some stuff that I had forgotten about or wanted to forget about, like that. And Resident Alien's great, but have you seen Roswell? Okay, and not the old Roswell. And yeah, aliens and this and that. It took a couple of really weird turns a couple of seasons in, and I never went back to it. All right. But my point being, do a compilation video. And I think I'm gonna go, maybe my top 10. What did I watch this year? Top 10 for 2024, and then maybe all-time top 10. All-time top 10 will be easier to get to because I can tap into UFO and Space 1999 and Battlestar Galactica and which Star Trek I preferred and so forth. But as far as stuff that's airing now, I couldn't remember. And I know it's not my mind. There isn't just a whole lot out there. Comedy, and I was like, wow. And this is what I'm leading up to. It's kind of strange for me to say this. There are about 5 comedy TV series that don't have a laugh track, by the way. I hate that shit. That are so great, I go back and rewatch all the time, and I'll binge them in order. They're that great. I'm talking about The Good Place, one of the best TV series ever made, period. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Arrested Development, Kimmy Schmidt, and Parks and Recreation. Just so good. So good. So good. And they're all made by the same company, Romulus. Yeah, isn't that weird? I think Romulus is Kimmy Schmidt. Same cast members. 30 Rock. Also Romulus, I believe. And great enough to just go back and watch for the millionth time. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Good Place. All of them, actually. 30 Rock. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, I bring that up because my mind, I don't want to start forgetting stuff. And how do you know if you have forgotten something? How do you know if you've gotten to that point of age that memory starts to slip? I'm pretty sharp still. I am. But I've got this paranoia in the back of my head. I do. I'm admitting to it right now. I am paranoid about that. I just am. I am. I don't want to that's pretty funny, actually. Okay. Let's get to the questions. I've got looks like I've got 20 or 30. Wes Decker, thank you for that, brother. Very, 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 very cool. Thank you so much. And all right. Man, these are great questions. Look at you guys. These are really, really good. Okay. All right. I'm going to start over. Let's get to the top. Man, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, that's good. I'm marking them so they're all highlighted. That is a lot. That is a lot of questions. Okay, so let me get through all of these. So last night, I'm going to start with this. Last time we had Richard Dolan on the show, and Richard, I brought a PBS, and I brought a PBS because they have a new. Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because this way you can't tell where my eye line is. Here, you can tell, you can see that I'm looking at the questions and I'm looking down, right? I'm looking over here. The camera, I'm pointing straight at the camera. The camera's right there. So I'm looking here and you can see that. You can see that I'm reading down. And then I have to look up at the camera when I give the answer. I don't like that. If I do this, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, except for it's pointed in the wrong direction. Just a little bit. Let me move it. Let's see. Is that better? Yeah, see, that's better. Maybe a little more. I got to reach for it. Okay. How's that? Yeah, much better. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it this way. Looks better. You can't tell because the camera's up there, but I'm not looking there. Camera over here is up here, but I'm not going to, it doesn't look that way. All right. First question from Renee. Jimmy, if it's not too personal, did you have any New Year's resolutions? Oh, here, let me do this. So you guys can see it. Okay, there it is. Jimmy, if it's not too personal, did you have any New Year's resolutions that you thought about making or actually made or have broken already? None of the above. I don't think I've ever, no, I've never had a New Year's resolution. I've never made one to break. I hear about them. I hear about people doing them. I guess it's a thing. Do people actually make them? I don't know of anybody personally. No. So I've never made one. So I've never broken one, and I've never thought about having one. There you go, Renee. I hope yeah. Now, do I have a reason for that? I am not. I don't. It's weird. Never. No. See, I guess my attitude about it is, I'm not weak. I don't have issues. My weaknesses are Italian food, coffee, guitars, music. Those are my weaknesses. Real weaknesses, real things that I needed. No, 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 no. I've never really had any issues. I've had friends that I could see that have had issues. I've never really had any. All right. Yeah, it's weird. I've never had the need, and hopefully I won't, I guess. Okay, there you go. It's from Marty. How are you feeling? Are you taking expectorants? I don't know what an expectorant is. So I don't know if I'm taking them. What's an expectorant? It sounds like something my grandmother would say. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that is. And I'm not going to look it up. Maybe somebody can pop it up in the chat what an expectorant is. All right. From Gizmo, would you say we, the seekers of the truth, are disclosure? Well, of course I would. Yeah. Yeah, I love that actually. Well done, Gizmo. Yeah. Yes. Dolan and I were talking about this last night. It is so funny when you turn back the wheels of time and you look at the UFO researchers and the people that were cranking up the heat back in the day, and I'm talking about the 50s and the 60s. Disclosure was is just as big a subject as it is right now. It was. We had presidents talking about it. We had candidates talking about it. We had Congress talking about it. We had the Pentagon talking about it. We had Project Blue Book. We had press conferences from the Pentagon. Well, it's strictly about about flying saucers, right? And so the disclosure movement is nothing new. It's not. I think that the public today has a different attitude about it, where so much of the establishment was bent on personal attacks, accusations, questions of character and mental stability and other things too as well, that the world was afraid of talking about the subject, but it's not that way anymore. So that's because of us. For sure. Keeping the pressure on. Yeah, I like that a lot, Gizmo. I do. That's really well said. Okay. When I set the TV volume, it has to be an even number. Is that right? Is that right? I'm going to respond to that. In the family room downstairs, I've got the gnarly surround sound system in there. Gnarly. Okay. And that set at 19 is a fraction too low. The way I've got it set up with the center channel and the back speakers and everything. 20 is about perfect. If I want to turn it up, it kind of jumps. But 21 is starting to get loud. It's not too loud. I enjoy 21. 22 is ripping. 23, my neighbors can hear what I'm watching on TV. It's loud. So it's weird. So 19, 20 is like the balance point. 21, I will do. 22 is right out. 23, they know I'm watching the Golden Girls. Yeah, I like that. That's a really good point. Okay. Let's see. Philip Shepard. Who do you think is responsible for the megalithic work in Peru? I know, but I don't. I can tell you that officially, this is like official, not, I mean, for real. The indigenous cultures down there uh, insist that when they got there, this is before the Incas, most of this stuff was already there. So we're pushing these dates back, and it depends on what part of the country that you're in. But the dates are for real and pretty solid. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago for some of the stuff in and around Paracas. There's been a lot of study there. When it comes to the megalithic, now, let me explain something to everybody. You have 3 layers of construction in Peru, and you can clearly see it. And they are, the top layer is Spanish. The second layer is Inca. The oldest layer that is there, the biggest and the old is called megalithic. So they refer to all of those cultures as the megalithic. All right, that's the period, megalithic. I think that some of that is so old, and it could be anywhere from 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 years old or older. And what cultures were there, we don't know a whole lot. We don't. It's really strange. The rocks and the work that is there is so precise and so huge that it hasn't gone anywhere. And you see the precision of it. There's a fine precision. We talk about it all the time, but when you see it up close, and I have taken so many pictures of megalithic there, and when you do that and you take these pictures of thousands of stones so perfectly square and laid like they are, and then you look above it and you see what the Inca tried to do. They're trying to replicate it. It's not even, when I say it's not in the ballpark, it's not in the same county, not the same ballpark. It's not in the same county. It's not even remotely. And they did their best. I have no idea how those cultures got it done in the megalithic age. I don't. It's incredible. But I can tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't the Inca. It certainly wasn't the Spanish. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to go and look at this, firsthand and just scroll through. Let me try something. I have a new computer here, or a new screen, I should say. And sharing screens before was easy because of okay, let me do. I thought that was Cusco. It should have been a different set of pictures. Okay. All right. Enough of this. I'm just going to pull something up to see if I can share a screen. Okay. So if I pull this up, how is this done? How do I share this screen? Let's leave this over here. So will it be sharing a window? That's what I'm wondering. So let's see how this is done. Okay. Yeah, I like that. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can do it this way. All right. So this is what I'm referring to. Okay, so share screen. Wow, this works. I can do it with a curved monitor. Look at this. Bam. I have a curved monitor. This is a portion of the curved monitor. So this is what I am referring to here. This is a wall in Cusco. And I am just so fascinated with this type of precision. This is a wall. And that's a bigger stone. This stone here is a flat wall. It's an extreme close-up of these grooves. Let's see what else I have here. And so when you look at this underneath down here, that's really strange. It's really strange. But I have no idea where this comes from. And look, that's a modern window. It's an ancient stone wall in downtown Cusco. So when you see something like this, it boggles the mind. See the street? The street is new. Okay. All right. This is old. That is so old. And all of these little notches, when you see this, it's the most impressive. And this just winds around. You can go all over Cusco and see this type of construction. It's all over the city. It's everywhere. There's a famous 12-sided stone. And nobody knows a whole lot. Look at this video. So, yeah, I don't know. This is where I do my PBS voice. So the ancient cultures of Peru used construction techniques that confuse modern construction. Look at this. I mean, look at still those notches at the bottom. I have no idea. So there you go. I don't know. Look at this corner. Okay, so let me stop this right there. All right. This is Inca. That's Inca. This is megalithic. All right. Everybody picking up what I'm putting down. So if I bring this back, let's go back to play. That up there is Inca. This is Inca with the megalithic sticking out of it right there. So, yeah, I have no idea. I can just tell you who didn't do it. It wasn't the Spanish and it wasn't the Inca. That's the megalithic. Can you say bespoke radio for the masses? Wes Decker. Between South America and Egypt, which would you recommend someone to tour first? Coin toss. I'll tell you, let me say this. All right. You have to see Egypt first because you need to get your yayas out. You've heard about it. You've seen, all the sensation, the Great Pyramid, the mummies, the Great Sphinx. You just got to go. Luxor, Karnak, you got to go. All right, no question about it. Then go to Peru. All right. But after you see both, then answer that question for yourself. Because you're gonna struggle with it. I'll say this, and it's not going to change people's minds. Peru is equal to or more cooler than Egypt. There's more stuff. It's more spiritual. It's much more powerful. And we know less about Peru. The crazy stuff about Peru, the megalithics, we don't know anything about the peoples that built that. At least with Egypt, we know what happened at Karnak. We know what happened at Luxor. We know these things. Bent Pyramid, little questionable. action there. Red Pyramid, a little bit questionable, of course. Dozier, I think it's questionable. The Great Pyramid. Khafre, Khufu, Menkaure. There's questions about the dating on that. Yeah, for sure. And the Sphinx, yeah. But in a general sense, right? But when it comes to Peru, we know nothing. And Peru, it's all over the place. Everywhere. So after you see both, like I have, to me, yeah, I needed to. I've been to Egypt twice. I've been all over the country, and it's amazing. I love it. Peru's got more action, but you can, and there's nothing I can say that's going to change somebody's mind. Like, okay, all right, I'll go to Peru first. No, you shouldn't. You really want to go to Egypt? Come on. All right, I get that. All right, I do. But after you go to both places, you're going to be just like me. Well, I don't know, man. Egypt's cool, and people don't want to hear that. People don't. They don't, and I get it because I'm that way. No. There's no way that Peru was cooler than Egypt. Well, okay, you haven't been there, so you can say that. I've been to both. Peru's the shit. Peru's amazing. Peru's absolutely amazing. Your thoughts, Android Paranormal. Your thoughts on Jake Barber's Skywatcher team revealing the night of the mass UFO sighting in Palmdale was the same night that they did their psionic experiment. Okay, there was no mass UFO sighting in Palmdale. I've already addressed this. All right, so you can tell Jake Barber he's wrong. All right, so that's that. I'm shot. There was only one object in the sky that night, and that's it. Jake wants to give me a call or come on the show and discuss it. We can. I've looked at the videos from Palm. That didn't happen. There was no landing at Edwards and Palmdale. No, man. I told everybody what happened. I should have videoed. I didn't video that night because I got bored with it. I saw what it was. Now, could it have been I've thought about this, that strobing lights that I keep talking about. Is that part of the propulsion system with something anti-gravity? Could be. It was a weird thing to see. Constant strobing. It wasn't fast. It was rapid, right? On all three corners. Was that part? I don't know. But it wasn't the other. That's no. There wasn't 6 objects landing and taking. No, it just didn't happen. All right. So, I'll tell if Jake wants to talk about it, that's fine. But there was no psionic experiment. Those were drones, a single drone. I don't even know if it was a drone. It was something flying, and I'm 99.99999% sure it was man-made, and it was flying over Skunk Works in the corridor over Skunk Works. It did fly over my house, but I'm just a mile away. So what's that? Just I don't know. But there was no psionic experiment dealing with what I saw and what was happening over Palmdale. It was just some regular testing. So you want to tell Jake to give me a call? Have him do that. The MW, what does that say? The MWL? If you could bring one thing back that's gone, what would it be? Bring back one thing that's gone. Bring back the original McDonald's deep fried apple pies. I said it right there. I said, what, bring back something that's gone. Led Zeppelin would be pretty cool. Led Zeppelin would be pretty cool. Wes Decker, thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. That's so cool. Okay, let's see here. Your thoughts on this is less sweet, not Les Paul, less sweet. Your thoughts on guitar smashing, etc. by bands live. Rock and roll, man. Nothing wrong with that. I've seen it happen a few times. Michael Landau. You guys don't know who Michael Landau is, but he's probably the #1 session guitarist here in LA. And had a couple of really cool rock bands. He's just amazing. So one night, I'll just make this really quick. He calls me up during the day. He says, hey, man, I'm playing the Coconut Teaser tonight. You want to come out? I said, yeah. So I go to the show. And there wasn't very many people there. I forget the name of his band, the Amazing Honkies or something. What was the name of the band? And I'm standing right in front of him. There's only like 10 or 20 people there, as it should be. And he's in the middle of the first song. And he's wailing, bending this note. And he breaks a string. He turns to me, hands me the guitar, and says, string it. Take his guitar. I go down. He grabs his second guitar. And I'm stringing up Michael Landau's guitar on the top of this thing on the side of the stage at the Coconut Teaser. And I do it, man. I string it up. I break out a string and blah, 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 tune it up, stretch it. I get it ready to go. I go back to the stage. I've got his guitar. I'm standing in the audience, man. I got his guitar. It's all good. And he's bending this note on this backup guitar, pops the string. And I'm standing there with his other guitar. He takes that guitar, spins around, and spears it head first into his guitar cabinet, right into the speaker, and walks off the stage. First song. He walks out and is gone. And I'm standing there holding his guitar like that. And that thing's feeding back. And Abe Laboriel Jr. was his drummer. Abe's great. Plays for Paul McCartney now or somebody. Abe Laboriel keeps playing. And his bass player was like his brother, I think, or his cousin. They play for another couple of minutes. They quit. Show's over, right? And I walk out on the patio, and I thought, Michael, man, he's just so pissed. I walk out, he's laughing. It just wasn't worth it tonight. But it was the ultimate rock and roll move. Loved it. I saw the Who, Market Square Arena, and Pete Townsend. I think it was like Eminence front, and Pete Townsend goes up to sing, and there was feedback in his monitor, and he jumps back, looks at the monitor guy, comes back, does it again. He backs off, and he's, and he goes up again. Third time, can't start the song. And he turns to the mics. I see him going, and now he's pissed. And he goes up again. Pete takes he had, I think, a Telecaster. Takes his Telecaster, smashed it into pieces, kicking stuff, throws it. And I was like, yeah! Pete Townsend broke a guitar. It was amazing. And so he goes up. His guitar tech, he had a drawer, like a chest of drawers. They opened up a drawer, pulled out another guitar, handed it to me, went out. And he sang. There was no feedback. Yeah, I love that's rock and roll, man. That is rock and roll. Nemo's Odyssey. What is your favorite topic to research but not talk about? Ooh. Ooh. Well, then I can't talk about it. I can't say it. Trick question. Reverse psychology. You thought you were going to get it out of me? Well done. Well played. Yeah. What's your favorite topic to research but not talk about? It seems like there's something there. I like the question, but I can't think of anything. I don't think I've ever held back. There are a few things that I research now, probably that I don't think are as interesting as it used to be. I used to ask guests, even privately too, as well. So, who do you think is running the Illuminati? Who is it? What families are? And I never got an answer on anybody. It wasn't like as people were naming names. So then when you go backwards off of that and you go to these different organizations that, and Bilderberg's, for example, is a really good example of that. But if you jump into every one of these groups and you start cross-referencing and looking at the names and looking at the families, that was one of the things for me that was a real eye-opener for me, but I think boring to everybody else. It wasn't like I felt it of interest to everybody that they would be as freaked out as I was. And that is the names of these old established families that are all over Europe, some in the United States, that are old money. I'm not talking about the Rothschilds, right? And the Rothschilds are easy. That's an easy one to go after. But the Rothschilds never really had money or power. They didn't. They had a myth. That was it. It was myth. It was rumor. Well, I mean, man, so yeah, okay, all right. But no, that's not the case. Go deep into it and look at these families in Europe that you've never heard of their name. Old money, deep pocket money. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's what I found out. And just go into now, is that interesting? I don't know if it's worth talking about. It's interesting. There is a definite culture of wealth. What you see, Monaco and New York, and you see these places, you see this money and stuff. That's the visible, the real, the real stuff. No, man, no, they don't want no. They don't want you to know who they are. They run in a whole nother circle, independent and insulated from the world. Trust me. You got a 5,000-10,000 acre estate somewhere in Europe that your family has owned for 500 years, walled in security. You can't see the house, from the street. You have no idea who owns it, who lives there, or what they're doing, and they don't want to see you. It's trippy. And I did a lot of research into that. And they are the ones running the world. They're not the Illuminati, but they got the juice. I don't think they look at themselves that way. RCS Fragrance? RCS Fragrance? Is that real? Let's see. What are the chances of you getting Professor and remote viewer Courtney Brown on your show? And by the way, rock on, brother. I've had Courtney on the show many, many, many times, and I like Courtney. I think Courtney. I mean, I could reach out to Courtney. Yeah, he's just a phone call away. But I think Courtney just wants to teach. You know, he's really good on camera, and he's really good. He's got such a great personality. He's great. He's a great teacher because that's what he does. He's a teacher, not only of remote viewing, but he's a professor. Okay, and he knows how to handle himself. But I just don't think that he enjoys that as much as he just like. And so when he completes a project, and that's what I used to do with him many years ago, he would complete some big project and I would bring him on, but he wanted a reason to come on the show. But Courtney's great. He's been on the show many times, many, many, many times. Go and search Courtney Brown, Fade to Black. You will see. Let's see. Jimmy, what do you believe the huge H's in Peru stand for? Oh, I think you're talking about the H blocks. Those are in Bolivia. They're not in Peru. They're in Bolivia. And at Pumapunku. Don't know. They're friggin' old. Pumapunku is really, really old. And we're pushing the boundaries of what is possible when we talk about that. It's old. And so what was the purpose? It's very difficult. It's so old. The entire site is old. And you look at the H blocks and you see there is an obvious, it's obvious there's a construction there that is a puzzle that was taken apart. You can see how things fit together. You can see the joints. You can see the metallurgy. You can see, and I've done lots of videos on that. And let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Let me find a movie. No, I have a movie. Let's see. Image. I need movies. Where are my movies of Pumapunku? I can't tell. Is this a movie? Oh, okay. All right. So this thing just totally freaked out. So funny. Now, this is what I find so interesting. God, this is just great, man. One monitor, not multiple monitors. So cool. Okay. So those are the H blocks right there in the background. These are the H blocks right here. Okay. All right. Now, and you can see more in the background there. There's another row. You can see them going back here. Okay. These are the first two when you enter. But see how this is lying on its side? And then you look at everything in the background is also lying on its side. And you can see where these joints and purpose of these this is sitting on a wall. All right. So now that you've seen that, let's go through this for a second. There is a purpose here. This is Pumapunku. This is the back side. The H blocks are to my right in this image. So the H blocks being such a small part of, these are different clips from the documentary I'm putting together. But the site itself is huge. Okay, so we talk about the H blocks. The H blocks are at the very beginning. Look at this precision. Nobody knows. This is the backside of Pumapunku. It's a huge rectangular square, and it's giant. Okay? Now the H blocks are over the hill from this. Now I'm on the backside of Pumapunku, and this continues and continues and continues and continues. Look at the precision work of this. I'm walking. Take a corner, come up, turn the corner, and this is the foundation of this. And the stones are just, look at this. It's huge. It takes a good 60 minutes to walk around Pumapunku, the foundation of it. So this is a square, right? There's some notches in it, but if you're looking at this from the air, this is a giant square, and I'm walking down each edge of it and then coming up to the corner and then turning the corner. Pumapunku, those H blocks are on the top of this hill, which could have been at some point, and I'm guessing here, could have been a pyramid. Look at this. There's a tunnel. There's a tunnel at Pumapunku. Look at that. So, and these are things that people don't talk about when they talk about Pumapunku. These are the stairs on the back side of the site, melted and just crazy. Okay, so here at Pumapunku, to the left of this image is the H blocks. But if you look closely here, there's a foundation floor. The archaeologists have dug down to a certain point, and then you look, and this stone is just sitting there. And then you look at this far wall, that's just sitting there. They haven't done anything with this, with the archaeology here. It's just sitting, just left. It's kind of sad. You know, this is obviously something, right? And it's just sitting there. I have more images and more, look at that. And lots of ideas about what's going on here. Okay, so now of those walls that you just saw, those are passing around in the background. This is now coming back up over the top of the temple site. And you see this just lying in the grass. It's lying in the grass. Look at the drill holes. Just lying there. You know, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? So look at this, just a pile of stuff. And it just, so yeah, I think it's a great question. There it is, just lying in the grass, man. I mean, this is in stone. What's the purpose of that in stone? I don't know. Okay, so here are the H blocks. Now, and back to my point with this when answering this question, if you look in the background here, that's where that stone square is. And the H blocks are at the very beginning, as is all of the, there's Brian Forrester. You know, and you see this, where all of this construction is, everything is tipped over. So you would have to tip it back up and reassemble it. And there's not money. You would think that there would be universities in the United States that would be interested in what's going on. That is there. The problem is the Bolivian government. The Bolivian government has flipped from democracy and voting to dictatorship, right? Back and forth. And right now we're back into a strange situation down there. So it's not that it's a scary place to go to or anything, but it's not stable. And to have a university and a foundation dump a bunch of money into it, if there was a stable foundation for universities to get behind there, I think that there would be money pumped into Pumapunku and Tiwanaku, and it would be a different situation. And that's the problem. There is so much there to see, but there's no archaeology. You can observe it and go, man, there's something here needs to make some sense. but there isn't anything. I would love to go and spend a couple of years there digging and going down there with the team, but you can't do it. The government, it just doesn't work that way. It's Bolivia. It's not Peru. Peru's a different situation altogether. Different government and different thing. But Bolivia, fun place to visit, though. Fun place to visit. I don't know. There needs to be a reconstruction of everything. Kelly, is that Bocock? Have you heard the terms purple pigeons and wounded prairie chickens when it comes to hiding programs that the government is involved in? No, I have not. It's interesting. I haven't. It's worth looking into. Nancy G. Are we ever going to get to the stars? Should ET give us a boost, or are they waiting for us to invent some version of warp drive? All of your points are well taken. All of your points are well taken. I would suggest that we have propulsion systems that can do what we need to do. Okay. I'm not saying that I know of some secret space program of things that are going on. I don't know. I would like to think that our government is doing that and is capable of doing that. You listen to Elon Musk talk about this, and it's strange. He's trying to get to Mars, and the Starship and or whatever that's called. And then he goes in the other direction. He doesn't sound as confident, and he also just plainly says there is nothing going on out there. I've never seen aliens. I've never seen any evidence of aliens. There's nothing going on. And but I want to build cities on Mars, and we're going to do that soon. And he's got this thing about traveling, to Mars and building the space program, and he's doing it. And then on the other, he doesn't daydream about it, or he doesn't fantasize, or he doesn't consider, or he doesn't ponder. It's really weird. So is it Elon, or is it just Elon's money and there's other people that's doing that, and Elon really doesn't give a crap or know anything about it? That's the strange thing. So, and Elon is still lighting fires to get there. I would think that the propulsion systems needed to make all of that efficient have nothing to do with burning stuff and lighting fires. And I think that we have those systems in place. Yeah. It's really sad that I'm 61 years old. I wish that I was 20 and 25, 30 years old, just for the reason, the very selfish reason is that I wish I had another 50 years here to see what's going to be going on. What's going to be going on in 2070. It'd be amazing. And I don't know if I'm going to see that kind of stuff in the next 5 to 10 years. I'll be 71 in 9 years. I'll be 70 in 9 years. Am I going to see Mars action by then? I don't know. I would like to say it's going to happen in a couple of years, but that's a really big step. But the warp drives, the bending of space, these considerations and entanglement, and traveling to a black hole, that's for generations on down the road that are going to experience that. Yeah. Can you tell I've thought about this a lot? I have, and I'm more than a little bit bummed about it. And I've also said that I've been robbed and cheated, because we were promised things in the 1960s, 70s, right? We were promised those moon bases and Hilton Hotel, space station. We were promised those things, flying cars, all that stuff. I mean, none of it happened. And we're in 2025. It was supposed to be by the year 2000. And when you go to 1965, here's the reality of it. You go to 1965 and you consider these things, and you think about them. That's 35 years. 1965, we've got Gemini, Mercury, the Apollo programs in place. We've got astronauts. We're heading out. Our first lunar landers and things have happened, and we're looking at flying stuff to Mars. And okay, all right, okay, this is happening in 35 years, because then we're going to be on the moon in 1969. So you're thinking to yourself, if we did this in 5 years, 8 years, where are we going to be in another 5 years? Right? 1975. 1975 space age? 1980. Oh man, by 1980, it's going to be on, right? These are the things that, and the year 2000 came and went. Nothing happened. Think of the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's where we were supposed to be. Never happened. Here we are. It is now 2025. Still not back to the moon. Back to the moon. Yeah. All right. Let's see what's next. I need to take a commercial break, so we'll do that now too. Roger White. What is your thoughts about UFOs over California fires? There were no UFOs over California fires. I didn't see any. I was out there every night. So, no, I didn't see any. Nobody, all of my UFO friends and sky watchers and everybody here in Southern California, nobody has told me anything. And we were all looking. I never saw anything. So, no. If anybody reported UFOs over the California fires, they weren't from California. They weren't here. There you go. No, I didn't see any. I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I don't want to sound that way, but I didn't see anything. Okay. Mitch Martin, notice the Immaculate Constellation document used the term ARV in its description of the phenomenon. How would one discern which craft fit into that category? Yeah. So, Mitch, let me just say this, and I want you to, allow you to use discernment. When you see a term like that in a document that is purported to be, of some official capacity, and then you see that in there, ARV, I just back up and go, the document's fake. It's not real. It's made up. ARV is a term by researchers here in the UFO community. Legit. Do I think ARVs are real? Yes, but that's a term that this community and researchers have put on it. I very seriously doubt that Department of Defense or Lockheed Skunk Works or whoever you want to point the finger at is calling their work ARVs. Yeah, Immaculate Constellation. The idea behind it, yeah, okay. But I think that document is created by Jimmy, how about Firefly? Who put that up there? I'm not feeling too confident about the Immaculate Constellation document. I want stuff like that to be real. I base my life around that. It's all I do is research this subject. And I have seen things in the sky that I clearly cannot explain. All right. What I don't like is the misinformation, disinformation, and hoaxing of stuff. Throws us off the scent. Carl Olson, what about Firefly? You damn Skippy. Such a good series. The movie was good too. Movie was excellent. Yeah, 100% correct about that, Carl Olson. All right. With that, I got to take a break. I am going to do that, and I will be right back. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black T-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 T-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black T-shirt today. Go Beckley Teppy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. Today we're headed to Bolivia, Tiwanaku, Peru, and of course, Pumapunku. Brian, exciting. Thank you so much for everything, my friend.
Always an honor. Right behind us is the sacred river of the Inca that goes past Machu Picchu. So we're going to be driving up to its source at 15,000 feet above sea level and then down to Lake Titicaca.
So today we hit 15,000 feet.
Yes.
Crazy. And you can do it with us. All you have to do is go to hiddenincatours.com. Simple. We've got 2 tours coming up next year, one in June for the summer solstice, right? And then another one right here in November. So hiddenincatours.com. Come and hang out with Brian and I and his amazing team.
Right on.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. Tonight's our AMA AJA. Ask Me Anything. Post your questions in all caps in our live chat. You guys know what to do. I was watching the Brian Forrester commercial there, and we mentioned 15,000 feet. All right. And probably when that video was shot, we were at 12,000 feet. There's a documentary out, and it has directly it is about the megalithic and everything that we're talking. It's called Edith, and go and watch it. I think it's a 3-part documentary series. It's about Porsche, the company, taking a car to the highest, driving it to the highest point and breaking the world record. And they go to Peru to do it. All right. Now, the struggles, we're talking about Porsche and this car that they put together. They put together 3, and the car is called Edith. and it's a 911 four-wheel drive, 911 special built, but it's got to be a gas burning four-wheel drive car, right? And the struggles that they went through to and so they start documentary starts 7,000 feet, 8,000 feet base camp, and they're at 12,000 feet and struggling with the altitude and oxygen, not only the car but the team members, right, struggling to get this car to go higher and higher. And now in this video you can see we go to 15,000 feet, and we do, and I'm telling you, you get to 15,000 feet and you're like, man, and to struggle and to speak and to get a word out where you've got to take a breath in between 3 or 4 words and just try to get the oxygen in. And I've been in country, for over a week and trying to get acclimated to these altitudes. Anyway, so in this documentary, they get to 15,000 feet and these dudes are struggling, man. And you feel it when you've been there and you understand it. I'm watching this documentary and I'm like, wow. And they're trying to, they're just trying to go another 500 feet up, to get to 15,500, to get to 16,000 feet. And just the struggle that, and they're trying to get to, I think the mark is 22,000 feet. And what they go through at 16,000 feet and 17,000 feet. And then you just, wait a minute. How did the ancients do this? Right? And I'm watching the documentary and I'm thinking to myself, this is exactly what we're talking about. This right here. And Porsche's doing it with a 911. And trying to get this four-wheel drive. How were the ancients slapping around these 100-ton rocks, quarrying them and moving them at these altitudes to the tops of these mountains in Peru? And it's all over the place. And that's one of the reasons why you can go to Egypt. You're at sea level. You're in the desert. You can contemplate and theorize a number of different ways how these stones were moved around. It was magic, whatever they were doing, for sure. But that's at sea level in warm weather. All right. Okay. You've got a river right there with fresh water in it, the Nile. There are things. You have resources and food and everything. Go to the high desert in Peru, into the Andes Mountains, and go up to those altitudes. And so when you're driving around at 15,000 feet, 15,000 feet, and you get up there and you look, and there's construction and megalithic everywhere. It's just like, how, and I think that this documentary by Porsche, and the team and the struggles that they went through is evidence for us about how technology that we have today isn't the answer for that. I don't know, but you can see the megalithic everywhere in Peru at altitude. Crazy stuff. And then you watch this move and watch how they are struggling to breathe, to think. They're on their walkie-talkies repeating themselves, not realizing that they just said what they just said. And they're wondering if they heard what they heard. Their brain isn't working, right? That's, oxygen and everything else that is tied to that. It's resources, it's food, it's the weather and ice sheets and storms. And how did the ancients do it? Yeah. All right. Let's see. Skyhawk. When in Delavan, Wisconsin, are you going to take a side trip to the Harley Davidson headquarters and the museum? Yeah, I've thought about this. My plane tickets are already booked. Oh man, I've thought about this. I'm going to be right there. Yeah, I'm going to be right there. I wonder how it can't be too far away. What, it's hour drive? Maybe we can squeeze that in. Yeah, 50-minute drive from Delavan. Okay. Are you going to be there? You want to take me? Skyhawk? Let's go to the museum. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? It's an hour away. So we just escape, right? In your car. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea. Going to be right there, right? It's the motherland. Ken Priest in the house. Hey Ken, how you doing, brother? What is a conspiracy theory that as a younger man you believed, but now you know to be false? No, Ken, I'm not going to disappoint with this answer. I don't think there is one. I don't think that there is one. Yeah. I'm not, no. There are a few things here and there. But no, when it comes to ancient history, and that, I think that is getting more and more solidified, those conspiracy theories about previous cultures, and that even goes in with Atlantis. I think that stuff is stronger today than it's ever been before. And jump into modern stuff, and we talk about the secret space program, or I don't know about us being to Mars already, but Apollo 11 and the moon missions, and I'm not so sure. Yeah, I haven't uncovered the breaking thing. And I had just mentioned, here we are, 2025, still haven't been back to the moon. And the struggles that we have with Artemis, but apparently it was pretty damn easy in 1969 with the technology that we had back then. And people would talk about this all the time. But yeah, I don't think there is. No, I'm still the king of conspiracy when it comes to that stuff. I see the evidence on both sides, but it's weird. You can't prove it one way or the other on either side of the fence. Can't do it. So Ken, yeah, I'm still on the conspiracies. Yeah, I don't know. So if you want, post another question about a conspiracy theory specifically, and I'll address it. But I'm not so sure that I have been convinced one way or the other. Let's see. This is Jonathan. What question do you want to be asked, but has not been asked yet? I have no idea. Jonathan, ask me anything. About what? About what? No Bob Lazar questions tonight. Isn't that strange? Oh, now that I mention it. Did I see the Parade of Planets? Yes, I did. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Yeah. I tried to take pictures. I don't know why iPhones are not good at taking pictures of the night sky unless you get out there. For some reason, iPhones suck for that. Samsung has got the ability to take pictures of the stars. iPhones don't. So I tried to take pictures of the Parade of Planets. It was pretty cool. I love that stuff. Absolutely love it. Jimmy, this is Tara Ray. Imagine standing in a large open field watching motherships land, knowing it's happening worldwide. What song would you be listening to? Mine? Oh, what's yours? Kashmir? Yeah. That's pretty good. Man, yeah, it's kind of weird you said Kashmir. I kind of hear Led Zeppelin in a lot of that stuff. How about Dance the Night Away? That'd be pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. So I live in Palmdale, as everybody knows. And back in Burbank, I've told the story before, but we had our next door neighbor, the family there, one of the boys, I think they had like five boys in this family. One of them, his name was Mikey. And one day Mikey was over, he was helping me do some stuff, move some bricks around or something in the backyard. And he goes, "Hey man, did I ever tell you about the UFO I saw in Palmdale?" I said, "What?" And he tells me that he was out here with his family. They were having a birthday party or something in the backyard. And the party ends and he goes to bed. And he wakes up in the middle of the night and is drawn. It's 3 a.m. And he goes out. Something is telling him to go outside. And he goes outside and he looks up and he said he was looking at the Imperial Star Cruiser in Star Wars, this giant triangle thing that was miles long right above his house. And he says that he was confused. I think he said he was 13 or something. He was young. And he had said that he was confused. He knew that Edwards Air Force Base was nearby. And he didn't understand why the police and the military weren't there shooting at it. And he panicked. And he went and knocked on his neighbors' doors. Was trying to get people to wake up and come outside. He was trying to wake up people in his house. He went back out in the yard after banging on doors and watched it rise up and fly away. And he said it was huge. Big as the city. That's what you're talking about here, Tara. I wonder all the time what that moment would feel like. Yeah. Yeah, to see something like that. I wonder about that. I think about it. And it's going to be when you least expect it. It truly is. I remember being down in Orange County, and I was going to a UFO conference. I can't remember what it was, but it was down deep in Orange County, near the beach. And we're driving up the boulevard there, MacArthur Boulevard, next to John Wayne Airport. And heading, and anyway, we had to make a U-turn. But as we were trying to get to the hotel, which was on the other side of the street, and right in front of us was this blue, turned out to be a rocket launch, right? SpaceX or something. But it was going across the sky this way. And it was bright blue. This is at night, black sky, stars, and this blue and I didn't know what I was looking at. And I had that moment. Like, what? And I jump out of the car and I'm videotaping. And then I saw the separation of one stage to the next. And then I saw it kind of turn and go out. I went, oh, it's a rocket launch. But at first, and the shape of it, and it was blue and it wasn't moving. It was just I had that panic. Yeah. Not scared, but just that, oh man, it's happening feeling. And it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. And then when I figured out it was a rocket launch, it was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I want that moment. I do. I really do. I want to know what that feeling would be like to just like it's happening. Here it goes. It's just wow. Jimmy, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Not the team in red. They're called the Chiefs of Kansas City, I think. Yeah. Nah. So they're playing the Eagles. Yeah, I like to see the Eagles win. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not for the Team Taylor Swift. I'm not for Team Swift. Just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. To me personally. I hope I didn't offend anybody out there. I don't really care if I did, but yeah. Okay. I'm just pulling these up and reading them. Okay. Zach, Jimmy, man, do you have an opinion on breakaway civilizations? And what's your take on Von Braun naming the Mars guy in his book Elon? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, these are good points. Yeah, that Elon thing was pretty strange, wasn't it? Yeah, for sure. Breakaway civilizations. Another conspiracy. This is kind of like what Ken brought up earlier. I don't have now when you go and you watch the British TV show documentary 3, I forget the first part of it, something 3. And the idea that our scientists are disappearing, right? And where are they going? And apparently leaving the planet. All right. Now, the idea is a fascinating one. And is it possible to pull that off without us knowing? Well, okay. That is going out there a bit, isn't it? Or is it? This is the part where I've talked about this before, so I'll bring it up right now. Go and look at these are public numbers. Go and look at how many people go missing every year. Go look at those numbers. You can do it country by country. You can break it down by demographics and age group and everything else. You can go and look at those numbers. I had no idea how many, and it's in the millions, of people on this planet each year disappear. Now, is this evidence of a breakaway civilization? No, of course not. But what it is something to contemplate into this idea of a breakaway civilization. Could people just disappear? Yeah, the answer is yes. So when we throw in the idea of them leaving this planet and going somewhere else and supporting another civilization somewhere else out there, is it possible? Yes, it is. Oh, very much so. But Jimmy, how could this type of program go on? And okay, all right, let me answer that too. Without us knowing, it would be a huge secret. Let me give you, you want an example of that right now? We have a secret space program that's happening right now. Okay. And when you think about the possibility of, oh man, I just typed in the wrong when you talk about these ideas and the possibility of this happening, I'm going to give you this. When somebody says, "But Jimmy, how is it possible? Is it wait, yeah, okay." I'm going to give you this. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is, right there. I'm going to give you this, and if this isn't an example of what is possible without you knowing, Let me break this down. Okay. The X-37B. The X-37B not only goes on secret missions and is up in orbit for a year or two at a time. All right. Now take a look at this. We don't know what the missions are. All right. I can accept that. We don't know. We don't know its purpose. Why is something orbiting the planet for a year or two? What's it doing up there? Don't know. But we do it. That's not what's important. When we talk about the ideas of a breakaway civilization and the ability to have a secret space program that nobody knows about, well, I give you the X-37B. The X-37B, by definition, has to have a design team, an engineering team, a piloting team, a control center, logistics, a support staff, thousands of people in this program, and nobody is talking. Nobody. This is a secret space program by definition. So if all of those people, and there are thousands involved in the X-37B program, they're not talking. Nobody's broke ranks. We don't know what its missions are. We don't know anything about this program. Nothing. It's a secret space program. So if this can happen, and this is what we're told about, what is going on that we don't know about. Is it possible? Yes, because we have the X-37B. Period. You can let your imagination run wild with this. So I don't take anything off of the table because of situations like the X-37B and the idea behind a breakaway civilization. There you go. I just simply don't have answers when it comes to this. I just don't. Is it okay to ask to wish me a happy birthday? Happy birthday, Jennifer. There you go. Happy birthday. How many shout outs for happy birthdays have I done in Fade to Black? Half a dozen? You are in very rarefied air, Jennifer. Happy birthday. Now, how old are you? Give up the secrets. Give up the secret. Okay. Let's see. Stella Gatto, give us a brief history of your musical career. Would love to understand that about you. Brief history. That would take about 5 shows. It's long, but my father, he's still around, is a musician, was. I don't think he plays anymore, but went to school for music, went into the Army band. And so I was around when people say, my parents were musicians. No, your parents weren't musicians. Just stop with that. But mine were. And so I grew up with watching my father play in concert bands and orchestras and conduct. He's band leader of the Army band and conducting and doing all of these things, concerts and whatever. And so we lived in a music household. I was a late bloomer when it came to playing, though. I couldn't really settle on what I wanted to play. I liked everything. I loved watching my dad's bands rehearse. And I mean, from the age of like 4 or 5 years old, I was watching this stuff go on. And I was always intrigued by percussion and drums. I really dug that a lot. I love the sound of horns, jazz, Miles Davis, Coltrane, all that stuff, that era. And I still am. But that wasn't cool to me. And what was cool to me was rock and roll. And my dad didn't play rock and roll. He played jazz. He played some stuff, but and he would play music for me, recordings. He was into things, but I went in the other direction. He was getting older, and things were happening around me like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and Kiss and whatever, Peter Frampton. I can go on and on. So I was pulling towards that, and suddenly I wanted to play guitar. And so this is 14. I'm 13, 14 years old. But my dad couldn't really help me there. So I went off into another direction, and guitar is what I wanted to do. That was it. I focused on that and art. And I came out to California, and in the middle of the Sunset Strip stuff, played in a bunch of bands, did everything, played all the clubs in Hollywood. Did that, came out of that in around 89 or 90. I started in 87, 88, I should say, started producing. And I started playing less and less, and I was producing bands and engineering. And I got really, really, really good at that. And I pulled out of that, I was going to say fairly recently. I would say probably around 2002, 2003. It's hard to believe that was 22, 23 years ago. Still had all of my guitars, had the equipment, had the gear. And that's when, I kind of phased out of that, knowing I wanted to do this, what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So it was about going back to school and learning broadcast and journalism, but still having all of this around me, all of the guitars and the engineering stuff. So that's a very short version of stuff. It's much more detailed and complex than that, of course, and names and people and places and things. But that's what I did. So I took the knowledge of engineering and microphones and signal path and applied that to building a radio studio, and which is this studio here. It's a radio studio for sure. And there's video production here, of course. I've got video cameras here and all of that. But this isn't any different than a music studio. Same microphones, same signal path, same compressors. Got a drum machine right here. Can you see it? Oh, you can't. Let me hold it up. See, so sitting right here. Oh, the cables. Which way do I go with it? I can't. The cables. Can I pull it out this way? So here's a drum machine. Oh man, you still can't see it. There it is. There's a drum machine there on top of an interface. So that's there, right? So I'm able to write, produce, play. I've got, amps and instruments, obviously. And I have the capability to do albums or full music production here, which I do. So the music side of me has never left. It's still here. Obviously. Look, right? Look. I was thinking, yeah, can you see in this shot here? All right. So this camera is firing over this way. There is a long table. This is many feet away. This is I got to roll over here this is sitting here. Okay. So you can see the lights and stuff lighting up there, and there's more computers, and you can see what's happening. All of this is interconnected. But anyway, that's a long table that's about 15 feet long. that covers this wall. You can see the guitars above it. And I walked in, I was like, man, I'm going to clear all that stuff out. And I'm going to put guitar stands in front of these other guitars. And wouldn't that look good? I just want this around me. Yeah. Music is my life. And so I want to play more. I need time. I need time to get back into playing shape. And it just takes time. I don't have it. I want to have it. I just don't have it. I want to write and play more. And I've got ideas in my head and I've got things. So I've got 3 movies that I'm working on right now and I'm piecing them together. I've been talking about it. And I'm going to do the music for all of this. So it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to spend the time to do it. When you look at James Fox and the amount of time that he spent editing and working on all of these things that and I'm like, man, if he passionately is working on a film for a year, I want to do a film in a week, right? I just want to rush it and get the edits done, throw up some titling and put it out, right? It's not, no, I can't do it that way. I've got to just make it beautiful and perfect. And that includes the music. And I'm going to do that. All right. I'm going to do it. And I'm excited about it. So let's see, Jimmy, what was the last movie you were blown away by? You know what I was blown away by? Sector 31. Have you guys seen that? Came out last week. Sector 31, the new Star Trek. It's bleeping amazing. Amazing. So good. It's the story. It's the story is great. Not that big of it. The cast is great. But small ensemble cast. The Sector 31 crew. I think it's like 5 or 6, 7 of them. A couple of them died pretty early. I'm just going to let you know that right now. First cast member died in like 2 minutes into the movie. I was like, wow, I thought she was going to hang out a little longer. Anyway, Sector 31, really good. Really good. Really good story. Yeah. Yeah. So check that out. I'm trying to think. Has anybody seen Wicked? I haven't done that. I can't do it. Nosferatu. I was talking about that the other night. Nosferatu is gnarly. Terrifying movie. And it's not well, there are some horror movie moments to it, but it's not that. That is psychological. And it's so deeply psychological because of the music and the soundtrack and Nosferatu's voice and his accent. That messes with your head. Yeah, Nosferatu. But anyway, Sector 31. Yeah, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Really cool. You just have to get past a couple of things with it. I'm not saying anything negative, but you can tell it's a green screen acted film, like everything is done these days, by the way. Everything is green screen. So but the story is great. The story is great. There's a moment. There's a few moments in there, some entanglement moments and extra dimensions and stuff and frequency and what is visible and what is not and what is real and how they do that. So good. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Some black hole stuff, some vortex opening portal. Woof. Really cool. Really cool. So yeah. What type of TV do you have? Brand? I don't know. In the big one, I've got 2 big ones. I've got probably 5 or 6 TVs here. So the big one I don't know. I don't know. Big one. LG, Samsung, Sony. I've rotated them, just so you know. Yeah. And I'm uncomfortable in saying how big it is, but it's a big one. And but I swapped it out. So same size, but I went from one brand to another. I can't remember what's in there now. And I did the same thing upstairs. My bedroom. It's got the biggest friggin' TV. It's great. So my guest rooms upstairs have ginormous TVs in them now. Yeah. They had small ones. And that's it. That's it. I'm uncomfortable talking about this. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I know that's a weak answer. I would have to go out and physically look at them again. Johnny's Free Man. What's your favorite UFO case to discuss again and again? I got to go Rendlesham on that. Lonnie Zamora, Socorro is always great. Yeah, Rendlesham. Love that case. Phoenix Lights are also, that's a crazy case, but yeah, I'm going to go Rendlesham. It's not Nimitz. It's not the Roosevelt. Because I'm not so sure that that's UFO stuff, but yeah, Rendlesham. I love that case. I'll never stop discussing it. Let's see. Jimmy, what's your favorite guitar pick size? Holding it in my hand. Dunlop, Vortex, yellows. I have the purples. I have the blues. Those are different thicknesses. They get thicker. I used to only play the purples back in the 80s, but the last 20 years or so, I've switched down to slightly thinner, still very stiff, but I like it. So Vortex, but I sharpen them so they don't have a normal round tip. They're pointed. So I sharpen each one. And I've been doing that since the 80s. So the picks are, you can see, it's like an arrow. Let me see. See, they're sharpened. But yeah, Dunlop yellow Vortexes. I can't read what the thickness is, but yellow Vortex, that's my pick. Yep. I like Fenders. I like the Fender picks, but when you do a string scrape, you get a notch in it and it's worthless. It's a brand new pick and you put a notch in it, you can't play it and you got to throw it away. Vortexes don't do that. You don't notch them. No. As a matter of fact, string scraping makes them polished, makes them smoother. So that's what I use. Great question, though. Yeah, it's a great question. That's a legit. They're all legit, but that's really good. Jessica Rodriguez in the house. Do you believe we all have the abilities and we're cut off from them, and now we are slowly getting back to the knowledge we once had on our own? Do you think the government suppresses our abilities more? Yes, and yes, Jessica. Jessica is always flying over the target. She knows. Jessica's lights are on. Yeah. I agree with all. What was I just saying about Portia and Edith? And watch that documentary in Peru, trying to get up to where the ancients were already moving these. They're trying to get a Porsche up there, but the megalithic cultures were already up there with 100-ton stones, 50-ton stones, and they can't get a Porsche up the hill, right? So how was that done? That's an ability, Jessica, that we've let go of. I don't know. And they were levitating. I don't know. Probably. Okay, there was something else happening, Jessica. Yeah. Yeah. And that includes Egypt. You know, man. And I'm telling you, when you go, and I am not kidding, go to Oyente Tambo, go to Sacsayhuaman, go to Sacsayhuaman and just stand back and look at that stuff. And look at me with a straight face and go, it's nothing. Anybody could do that. No. Those stones would break a truck, would break a train, would flatten anything you put it on. They didn't have the wheel, right? Oh, but they rolled it on trees. They would crush trees. So I don't know. Yeah, that's an ability. I'm telling you, there's some kind of and that's just moving the stones. What about forming them and quarrying them and making them fit? Tell me there wasn't some technology that they had to get all of that stuff done, and an ability. Was it I don't know. I don't know, because we've forgotten. That's crazy to me. Yeah, Jennifer, you're absolutely right. And would the government want us to know this? No. Would they suppress that? They are suppressing it right now. Okay, Jimmy. Do you know if Christopher Dunn has been to Peru? I think he has. I think he has. That's worth asking Christopher Dunn about. Yeah. Yeah, well done. Is that a Star Trek logo? Is that what that is? Or is that the Randy Rhoads Roswell Jackson? Ooh. I can't see it, but it's one or the other. Yeah, Christopher Dunn is so good at that. He's so good. I'm so glad that it makes me feel great that Christopher Dunn feels better. Jennifer Rodriguez, only one question tonight, Jennifer, except for you. Do you think our consciousness has a lot to do with our supposed junk DNA? Okay. I don't even need to read the rest of the question. The ability to use to build the pyramids. Here's what's crazy when I think about DNA these days. I made this announcement yesterday. I reported the news yesterday about the cargo that was brought back from the asteroid Bennu. All right. Now that sample from Bennu, and I read it again today. It was on another news. 14 of the 20 amino acids on planet Earth. There's 20 that are known here on Earth. 14 of those 20 were just found in that sample. 14. It's insane. Surviving in the vacuum of space, amino acids, proteins. I was talking about this last night with Richard Dolan. So if that is the case, the idea of life and DNA, as soon as I see DNA, I think about that immediately. DNA is universal. Nobody talks about this. Why am I the only one that has pieced this together? I'm going to yell from the mountaintops with this. DNA is the same on the other side of the universe as it is here. It's the same on the other side of the Milky Way as it is on this side of the Milky Way. It's the same in Zeta Reticuli or Andromeda. It doesn't matter. We managed to get to, that's crazy about our technology, fly a lander out to Bennu, a little rock floating around the solar system, right? And land on it, scoop up some stuff and get it back here to Earth. That's crazy. And what did we find? We found on that asteroid what is here. Let that sink in. The 5 The 5 components, there's not 4 of the 5, the 5 components of RNA and DNA were found in that soil sample, that rock sample. That's insane. You know, it's one thing, it's carbon, it's this, and all of that was there. But to say, oh, we found rhodium, we found platinum, or we found gold, or we found this, or okay, all right, okay, that's kind of no, to find the building blocks of life. So if that's the case, then that would mean that there are advanced civilizations out there that know what consciousness is. Can you imagine? Well, what if they were more advanced than us? How about a billion years more advanced? I was just talking about how we were robbed from 1969 to the year 2000, right? Now we've come a long way. Here we are in 2025, haven't made it back to the moon, but we're doing some pretty fantastical things. And we got the James Webb Space Satellite parked out there, you know, and taking pictures of the deep universe. Yeah, that's great. We have this ability to look for exoplanets. We are looking at life everywhere right now. And so that life is out there. Asteroids like Bennu are just carrying this stuff around the universe, just carrying it, crashing into. But so, how much is out there, and how much? And if you are, we are on the cusp. We are on the edge of understanding one of the last evolutionary things that we need to get through, and that is consciousness. What it is, and where does it come from? How does it happen? How does it start? What is there? What is thought? Right? What is memory? What is stored? Yeah, we're right there. And advanced civilization would have a grip on that. Did we have civilizations in our past that were using consciousness in different ways? You know, and that's where we are. Jessica, that is amazing. One last question. This is from Amy, and I'm going to get out of here. Jimmy, now that you've been to both Egypt and Peru multiple times, what ancient sites are on your radar and why? Oh man, that is really good. It's a really good question. That's a really good question. I want to explore more of Mexico. I want to go to some Mayan sites, Honduras, Belize, Mexico. There's so much instability in Honduras and Guatemala right now, but I would love to get down there and check it out. Belize is wide open when it comes to that. And of course, you have Costa Rica and Panama too as well. But I would like to get into more of the Mayan stuff that's right here in our backyard. Now, Mayan focus for me is next. There are some sites in Brazil too as well. I would like to go and check out. But right now, right in our own backyard, all of Central America is just covered with Mayan stuff, and before the Mayan too as well. But yeah, I would like to do that. Going back to Peru, as everybody knows, 2 times this year. I want to also get to New Zealand. I want to get to Australia and see what's going on out there. It's extremely old, as we know, and I would like to get up into the northwest of Australia and see what's going on over there with those ancient cultures. And the same thing. Oh. And I'm doing this now. It's being booked. I am going to Easter Island, and that is going to be in early 2026. And there's a possibility that I'm going to take a few people with me, but it's booked. It's booked. I'll make the announcement later on in 2025 and how many seats are available for that. Okay. So yeah, Easter Island. So Mayan stuff, Central America, and then heading over to Easter Island. What a great show tonight. Let me see if I can squeeze in one more. I'm just going to scroll and grab. What is your preferred disclosure path? Yeah, that wasn't a quick and fast one, was it? I'm just going to scroll and stop. You ready? I'm going to scroll and stop and answer here. Oh, I thought that was all caps. Jimmy, if every action has an equal and opposite reaction, what is traveling opposite a light wave? Ooh. That's from Philip Rivera. That's tasty. I'm going to think about that overnight, and I'm going to give you an answer on Monday. Maybe I'll post it on social media. So with that, everybody, this is my Friday, your Thursday. Have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. We've got a short week next week. We're only broadcasting on 3 nights. Thursday, I'm heading down to the Conscious Life Expo. So everybody, have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. I'll see you right back here on Monday. Have a good one. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go back, Lee Tappy.